Hi, today I'm just going to show you through some of the features on the Kia EV5. So starting down here, you've a lot of storage space in here, followed by two cup holders which you can push in just like that. There's little arrows on them and they basically fold in here. You can then push this button and they will flick back out. Here you'll see a white sticker. You can take that off. All it's doing is telling you that your phone will get warm, as this is a wireless charger. So when you put your phone down here, as long as your phone is wireless charging applicable, and so is your case, it will charge here. Over here you've downhill brake control, so when you click it, it'll come up on the dash up here just like this. Basically it's used more for off-roading than anything. It'll slow each wheel down by using the brakes, but again, it's for off-roading. When you get into the car, you'll see this parking sensor button has an orange light in it. Basically that light is just showing you that your parking sensors are on. If you wanted to turn them off, you can just click this and then your parking sensors are turned off. The only time you could really do that if you wanted to is if you had a hitch on a car and you were towing something. That's where that would come in useful. When you go into reverse on this car, your reversing camera will come up here and it'll go off as soon as you go out of it. However, if you wanted to click this button here, your reversing camera will also pop up here. Now, depending on the spec, you might have more cameras or less, but if I click here, you'll see this is the normal camera, and when you move the steering wheel, the yellow lines will move. If you click here, you'll have a full screen, and if you click the next one over, you have just like a where you can line up your hitch if you were putting that on. So I'll put that back to normal. I'll just turn this off by clicking it again. And an auto hold here does your hill start. So if you were stopped on a hill or at a junction, if you press down your foot on the brake, you'll see when I turn this on, which it should stay on when you get inside the car, it's down here in white. If I stopped at a junction in drive and if I press the brake, that should go green, and then that would mean that I can take my foot off the brake and I'll have, until I press the accelerator, it'll hold the brake for me. Now it'll also turn off the handbrake for you when you take off, and it'll also turn the handbrake on when you're stopping the car and you put it in park. Down here then, you'll see there's a bit of storage, just a big storage bin down here, and followed by these little four parts here. So behind this first one, if I push it, you'll see a 12 volt. So basically that's for your dash cams, and if you wanted to fit a charger or anything, you put it in here. You also have a USB-C charging port, so that'll just charge your phone. And then over here you'll see that's yellow, followed by this yellow light, but if I click it, it follows the other white line then to the top. So when it's on the white, so the top part, it just charges your phone through a USB-C cable. Whereas if I click it and it goes to the bottom, it charges your phone and it also connects to the infotainment screen. You also have a little hook here for any bag you might want to hang. Then up here you have your temperature controls. So if I hit down or up here, I'm changing the temperature for up here. So this for the left side, and this one is for the right side. So if I move this one, you'll see that moving here. You'll see the sync button, that if I click that, whatever the driver's side is on, the passenger side is also on. So if I moved up or down, you'll see it'll change. Driver only will turn off the left side of the vehicle. And then you have your fan speed. So you can change the fan speed through this button, so you can hit up or down. You can also hit it up or down on here, so by clicking up or down here. And if you hold this button, it'll turn it off. Then you have the mode button here, which will change where the air goes to. So if I go up, you'll see it'll go through the different modes of where the air is going to blow to. So I'll just leave it like that for a second. Also up here, if I click this little cross up here, it will bring all your settings up here as well. So basically you can still do this and this, but on the main screen. Now just to get rid of that, you click it again. You have a button for the front heated screen, so it'll blow air up at the screen to defrost it. You have the back heated screen, air recirculation, air conditioning, and then you have your auto. If I hit auto, you'll see 3 lights will pop up. Then if I click it again, it'll go to 2 lights, then 1 light, and then if you want to turn it off, you just hit down here or down here. Basically what auto does is get you to your degrees, and it does this part of it for you, so it'll set the right blower motor setting. When it does that, it'll get you in 3 different light intensities, so there's low, medium and high, hence the 3 buttons. Also here in the middle is your hazard button and your volume button, so if you can scroll this up or scroll it down, and if you click it in, it turns off the radio. So currently you'll see there's a radio station, but if I click it, it turns off. You then have your home button, which will bring you to here. So your map, you can save a home location and an office location if you wanted, and if you click it then after, it should bring up where you actually want to go. So they're just shortcuts. If you click this one, it'll show you any charging stations nearby, and then if you click into it, it'll show the map. So basically it'll work like a normal map. You just hit the search button up here. You can use air codes, which is very useful, and then you can also click this if you want to mute it. Then if I go to home again, you'll see that there's also the radio. You have EV, which will show you the different settings, such as what percentage you're currently on, how close your local station is, your kilometers with and without your air conditioning. So as you see, it's a small bit less with it. So along with just being able to see these details here, you can click into here and set what time you want to leave in the morning. So if you leave every morning at 9 AM, if you want it to be defrosted in the winter mornings, you can set it up through here. You can also set a charging limit, so if you only ever want to go to 80% of your battery, etc., you can do that through a DC and an AC. Then if I go to home, you'll see the radio, so I click into that. You can hit DAB FM and save stations by hitting the stars, and then it'll show them up in the favourites. You can unfavourite them again by hitting star again. So that's these three. If I scroll across, you'll see phone is where you connect your phone, and also if you click into it, then when your phone is connected, you can dial people and call favourites, etc. Phone projection is your Apple CarPlay Android Auto. These three here are related to Kia Connect, so you can set them up through your phone and you can use these. Settings I'll go through later, it's the same as setup. So you have relax mode here, which basically when you're stopped and you're waiting for the car to charge, etc., you can go onto it. So you can put the car in utility mode, and by going into here, what it does basically is you can't drive the car, but it uses the rest of the screens and all that. So it just uses the power for entertainment. This will also control your air conditioning for you. It'll lay back your seat. It just makes it relaxing. Pet mode, when you're leaving the car, if you want to go into a shop or something, you have a pet with you, it'll just leave the windows down a small bit, and it will also turn off the interior alarm. Car wash mode will basically make sure that all the windows are closed so that you won't have any issues with water coming in through the car wash. Weather, it'll just show you the weather. Calendar and sports are Kia Connect as well, so they'll connect up with your phone. Valet mode, you can set a speed limit on this car that you have a password to type in, and basically if you gave the car to someone to clean it or something like that, they can't go above a certain speed limit then. So the rest of these then, you have your online manual. If I click it, you'll see a QR code come up. If you go on your phone and go onto your camera app, if you scan this QR code, a manual will come up, and basically it'll show you some stuff about the car. In here you also have a book, so it's the same thing. If I go back, you'll see notifications is any notifications such as Kia Connect again. Vehicle diagnostics, if you click into it, will show any error lights, so there's none on the car at the moment, but if there was like a tyre pressure light or something like that, it'll come in through here. In-car payment then again is related to Kia Connect. So here you just have shortcuts, so map will bring you to your map that we were looking at earlier. Search, every single item in the car has its search bar through here. So if you were looking for a place, an air code, if you're looking for a setting, a contact, a song name or a radio station, etc., it can all be searched through here. It's quite handy because there's so much settings in the car that if you use this, it's just way easier. Media will bring up your radio, and if you click it again, it'll bring up the different media outputs. So you have DAB FM, you have the likes of your Bluetooth audio, there is more here as well, but for the major ones you'd have your DAB FM, Bluetooth audio, you have your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. However, you can connect more as well. If you hit the star button, there's currently nothing set to it. Basically this hollow star here, and you have a full star over here, you can make them do two separate things. So they're called custom buttons. Basically at the moment this is set to do nothing. However, if I go up here and I said display on and off, every time I click this, the screen will turn off and back on. So you can choose what them buttons do. The same with the other, so that's the hollow star. If you click here, you'll be able to change what the full star does as well. Then you also have this mode button on the steering wheel. Again, if you click over here to set what it does, you can choose different outputs, so like Bluetooth audio, phone, projection, and we'll say DAB FM, and then it'll flick between them three every time you click it. You can have as much or as little outputs as you want here. Then lastly you have setup. So if you click this, there's loads and loads of settings in the car. The main thing is if you hit setup, phone connections, and then add new at the bottom, it'll come up on your phone through settings and then through Bluetooth. You can connect it here. So once it connects, then it'll ask you, do you want to connect to wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, depending on your device. So you can say yes or no to that if you wish. And it'll also ask, do you want to leave the contacts be downloaded? That just means if someone phones you, it won't show up their phone number, it'll show it the same as if it's on your phone, so if you've saved a certain name. So if I go back to settings, you also have Kia Connect here. If you click it, it explains how to set it up, but it basically allows you to see stuff like the battery percentage and unlock the car and lock the car on your app on the phone. There is loads of other settings, however use the search bar for anything you're looking for. Behind here you'll see there's this stalk, it's your indicator, so right and left. You also have this little arrow here. It's currently set to auto, which means when you get into the car, if it needs it, it'll turn on your dim lights. If it doesn't need it, it'll leave them off. Currently it's in auto and it's a nice sunny day and you have your side lights on, so just your normal everyday running lights. If you want to then put on your full beams, whenever you get in the car, this light is always going to be on, so if it needs lights, it'll put them on. If it doesn't need lights, it doesn't use them. You never have to touch it. The only thing you have to do is when it gets dark, you hit this stalk out and you'll see it comes up with auto up here. Basically that is allowing the car to put its full beams on. So if when able, it'll put on its full beams. If a car comes towards you or go through a built up area or there's a highly reflective sign, it will dip them again. Now for the sake of this, I'll show you how to turn them off. So you bring this arrow to 0, that's completely off. We'll pass auto up to the side lights, so that's if you manually wanted to turn them on. And for the sake of it, I'll show you the full, if you wanted to put on your dipped lights as well, you put it up to here. Just to put on your full beams, hit that out, and then pull it towards yourself, and you'll see it switches from up here. When your dip beams are on, you can hit this down, and you'll see the back fog light comes on, click it again, it goes off. Now I'll bring that back to auto. Your wipers over here are currently set to off now that I hit it down. So you'll see off, auto, 1 and 2. So if I hit this up 1, you'll see it'll go to auto, they'll turn on once, and then other than that, only when there's rain it'll do it. If I brought that up to 1 or 2, it'll just put it on a constant setting, and you can finally adjust it then how quick it does it by using here. So I'll just bring them off now currently, and if you were to hit it down 1, it'll just do it once. The side here, if I twisted it, will go to 1 and 2. Basically that will do the back wiper, so the different speeds. If you push that away from you, it sprays the back window, pull it towards you, it sprays the front window. Behind the steering wheel here, you'll see there's a plus and a negative. So that is changing down here where it says level 3. If I hold this button on the left, you'll see I pedal comes up. And if I hit the right one, it goes down to 0. Basically level 0 means when you're driving along, this car will continue to coast when you take your foot off the pedal. Whereas the further up it goes, so it's the level 3, it will slow down as you leave your foot off the pedal. So it'll basically recharge the battery a small bit and it'll stop your brakes from wearing. So it'll slowly bring you slower. So it's one of them things where when you get used to it, it's very nice. So when it's in I-pedal mode, that means once I lift my foot off the accelerator while driving around, and if it's in I-pedal mode, basically it'll come to a complete stop in a certain distance. Now I will say try it on some flat ground where it's quiet and you'll see the distances that it takes to stop at each level. Over here then, you have cruise control, so if you're motoring along at 100 kilometers an hour, you hit this, it'll turn the cruise control on to whatever speed you're doing. You can then hit this up or down by clicking this up or down to change the speed, so by going up or down 1 or 2. And then you can click this in and it'll pause if you wanted to stop it. So when you have cruise control on, you can either tap the brake ever so slightly or click this in. Then if you wanted to turn it back on again, you just click this and it'll turn it back to whatever speed you had it at. In this car, it is also smart cruise control, which means when you're going along at 120 or 100 and someone in front of you has 80 kilometers an hour, it'll continue at their speed. So it'll slow down until it reaches the same speed they're doing. This button here chooses how far it keeps you from that car. So whatever you have it last set at, it'll stay, but basically you have far, medium and close, and if you just click this once, twice or 3 times, it'll come up here and it'll show you how far away it's going to keep you. Over here then, you have the A4 sheet of paper, which when I click it, you will see down at the bottom here, there's a white little line. It goes through the different menus up here. Then you can scroll through the menus by using this little guy here. And when it asks you to hold OK to reset, you can push this in and it'll reset the trip. You then have this down here, which is called lane follow and lane keep assist. So there's this grey icon up here with 2 lines beside it. Basically every time you get into the car, that will be on. If you want to turn it off, you hold this button and you'll see that will go orange. Basically what that does is when you go over a white line, it'll give out to you a small bit and sort of bring you in and give you a bit of a binging sound as well. If you indicate, it won't do that, as in it won't bing at you. However, basically it's making sure that you keep in your lane, hence why it's called lane keeping assist. Now, if I click it once, currently it'll say this, if I was driving along, that little steering wheel would pop up here. Now that means instead of waiting for you to go over the line before it gives out to you, this will sort of keep you in the middle of your lane. So if you had your hands on the wheel, it'll steer corners for you around the main road. Now that's not on by default. You have to click it for the steering wheel, hold it for this thing, for the lane keeping assist. So basically this is going to be on every time you get in the car, whereas, and to turn it off, you hold that, it'll turn off, whereas if you wanted the other part, you just click it once. Down here you have the drive mode button, so when you get in, you're on normal. Whereas if I click it, you'll see that the range will reduce, it'll go into sport mode. Then you have my drive, which sees how you drive and sort of bases it off that. You have snow, which helps you in the snow. Eco will give you that bit more kilometers. And then you have normal. Basically, they do what they say here. So there's just a small bit more eco, they're a small bit more sporty. You can choose between them and find out which ones you like more. The mode and the star button I've went through. This will skip stations, so it'll go to the next station or the previous station, or if your phone is connected, it'll go to the next song or the previous song. If you click this button, you can talk to your car and you can say ring such and such a person. If your phones are connected, it'll talk to Siri or Google, depending if it's Android or iPhone. So when you click this, basically you can talk and say phone such and such a person or play this music. You then have your volume here, so you can turn it up or down. So by just scrolling that up or down, if you click it in once, it'll mute it, so it'll bring it from whatever volume down to 0. And in these cars there's a speed limit sound, so when you go over a certain speed limit, like here it's 25, it'll bing at you. Now every time you get in the car you have to do this if you want, but you can turn it off. So if you hold the mute button for a few seconds, it'll come up saying speed limit warning sound is off, and over here you'll have this little mute symbol beside the speed limit. Basically that makes it so it stops binging at you. However, you do have to do it every time you get in the car if you want to turn it off. If I click this, it'll bring up the ability to tune in your phone. However, if your phone is connected already, it'll bring it up here so that you can call someone. Now, behind here, you'll see there's a little EV button. So for when you're clicking that, that's turning on and off the car. All you do is you click it, and if you click it without having your foot on the brake, it'll just turn you on to ignition mode or accessory mode. So basically you can use stuff but you won't drive off. To drive the car, you put your foot on the brake, you click this button once, and you'll see it'll come up here saying ready, which means you're ready to drive. Then to choose what gear you're going to go into, at the moment you'll see this yellow P. At the moment that means we're in park. So there's a button on the side here, and if you click it, or when you're sitting into the car first, you'll see it's in park. When you're stopping, you click the little P on the side, that'll put you into park just before you turn it off and leave the car. But if you have your foot on the brake and you twist this a small bit, it'll put you into neutral. So you'll see that's lit up now, and if you push it a full bit, it'll go into drive. Then if you push it back, you'll go into reverse. You'll see that the mirror will slightly tilt down and your camera will pop up. But at the moment, I'll just click P on the side. The handbrake will come on, as you see down here, and they'll say it here as well. And that means I can take my foot off the pedal again. So down here you have your traction control button. There's never really a need in doing it, but if you wanted to turn off your traction control, you can. You also have your parking brake, so again it should go on and off automatically, but if you needed to do it, it's the same as pulling or pushing a normal handbrake. However, you do it here, so you just pull it or you push it and make sure your foot is on the brake whilst doing so. Over here, if you click this, your charging port will open. Then here, if you hold this, again this is only in certain specs of the EV5, however if you hold this, it'll open the tailgate, and if you hold it again, it'll push it down. Over here, you have your headlight adjustment, so it's currently at 0, that's what it should always be at. The only time to change it is if you had a lot of weight in the boot, you'd be able to scroll this up to 1 to 3, so depending on how much weight there is in the boot, and that'll stop your headlights from facing up, it'll bring them back down. So again, this is going to be dependent on your spec, but in this car currently, you have 2 memory seats. So when I'm happy with my seating position and my mirrors being in the correct way, I can hold one of these buttons and it will save a seating position. So then the next time that I get into the car, or my mirrors are correct or my seat is incorrect, basically if I just click this, so not holding it, just click it, it'll bring me back to that. Now you have 2 of these, so if you have 2 drivers of differing heights, you can have 2 different driver setups on it. Behind that you have your heated seat, cooled seat and heated steering wheel. Again, that's going to be different depending on your spec. However, you'll see if I click it, it'll go 3 lights, then 2 lights, then 1 light and then off. Obviously 3 being the hottest and 1 being the least hottest. Then you have your cooled seat, which does the same, and heated steering wheel as well. On the left side you'll also see a cool seat and a heated seat, and on the back seats you'll see there's also a heated seat here. So on this side and this side, on each of the doors, you'll be able to turn on your heated seat. On the driver's door you'll see this L and R. R is currently selected, which means if I use these arrows I can move the mirror left and right and stuff from here, and then I can change it to left and I can do the same, and then when you're finished doing it you just leave it like this so that in case you click it nothing will happen. The middle button here will fold in your mirrors, and through the glass here you'll see there's a little triangle on the glass of the mirror, and basically that's your blind spot detection. So if a car was in your blind spot, that will light up. If you try to indicate whilst that is lit up or whilst there's a car in your blind spot, it will slightly give out to you and it'll stop you from doing it. I can fold them back out again by clicking this. When you lock the car, they will fold in, and when you unlock the car, they'll fold out. Also, while you're driving, this car should lock itself at 10 kilometers an hour, however you can change it through the settings as well. Down here, you can manually lock the car by hitting here, and you can unlock the car by clicking this. You have your 4 window switches, and then you have your child lock button here. So your back child lock will go on, and also the window switches will stop working for the people at the back. You can still use them in the front, however the back switches will stop working. Now, back here, you'll see there's a USB-C charging port, and it's the same on this side. On the back seats as well, you can change the temperature. So if I click here, you'll see it currently says 18, but you can raise that or lower it for the people in the back seats. There is also this pull-out tab. So if I push my hand here and if I lift it, this will come out, and you can also open in here for a bit more storage. So that just gives someone storage for their phones. So up here you can click this, the light will come on and off, same with this one. If you hit this, all the lights in the car will come on. And then over here, if you click this, it'll stop it so that when you open the door, your lights will either come on or off, depending on if you have it clicked. Your SOS here means when you click it, it'll call the emergency services. Other than that, you have a little sticker over here for Kia Assist. So depending on if you still have it with your vehicle, if it's a new one, you should have it currently. But ask your dealer, and if you can phone that, then they will help you. Other than that, thank you for listening. So hopefully that has answered any of your questions on the Kia EV5.